to all of my Geminis. So please make sure to get the book at Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. The links will be in the description box below as usual. Like, I have so much. I just want to say I have so much to offer. I have merchandise. You know, I have merchandise, or i.e. clothing to offer, tarot readings. Like, I have so much to offer. You know what I mean? I also have, like, you know, kind of relationship courses, right? Which will help you out to understand relationships, so you don't necessarily have to do the whole hypergamy thing, you know, that's popular now. See, we gonna get into it. we you know what I mean? We're gonna get into it. If you'd like to contact me for personal reading, my email address as well as prices are in the description box below, as usual. So let's get into it. So the cards that I come up with are the Nine of Wands, the King of Wands, the Lovers, Four of Pentacles, the Devil, the World, Ten of Cups, Ace of Cups, Ten of Wands, and last but not least, you have the Four of Wands. So what I'm seeing here for the Geminis, right, is the Lovers does represent Gemini. Okay, so you showed up in your own reading. This is kind of like Cancer crabs, but obviously it's different. There are some things that are different. And what I'm seeing for you, Geminis, is that I'm seeing, this is very interesting. I'm seeing how some of you Geminis kind of may have been interacting with someone who's giving you some trouble in the context of love and in relationships, right? This person is kind of running you Geminis through a loop, because I'm in my chair, it's an office chair, so that's why I'm swinging back and forth, but don't mind that. But this is about how a lot of you Geminis, like, y'all are kind of confused as to what this person is doing. You know, which is actually quite ironic, considering that this is Gemini saying that they're the ones confused. And, you know, the Devil represents the toxicity. So this represents how a lot of you Geminis may have, because if you pay attention to it, it's the same motif. The same celestial figure at the top, the same two people down here, but in different landscapes. But the actual id, ego, and superego, right? The three, the id, ego, and superego, or the id, ego, and superego at the top, right? And then the id and the ego on on even playing fields. It's the same motif, the power of three, the triangle, you know, the triangle. So why this is important in the first place is because this is showing a contrast of how at first the relationship may have been good, but then it turned out to be something where, you know, a lot of you Geminis may have felt like it was a very painful place to be in with these people. But the World and the Ten of Cups represents how, you know, essentially you're getting over that and you're moving forward with this. You're not with this person anymore. So a lot of you Geminis are single. Okay, I'm talking about the greater Geminis who are single. And the Ace of Cups represents this person may have even tried to stop you from leaving. But the Ten of Wands and the Two of Wands represents, obviously, that didn't work. And you're moving forward, even though this person is kind of watching you, trying to make a claim, basically, that you shouldn't be moving on because the relationship will get better. Even though they are confusing you, even though they are frustrating you, right? And this is just, unfortunately, like I said, this is just one of those things with Geminis where, you know, Geminis kind of, you know, we're going to get to it in how to understand the Gemini, but the videos, right? But that's just how, you know, that's a lot of the times how Geminis pick their partners. A lot of the times, the sword elements, I should say, or the sword, the air signs don't necessarily pick partners And this is why it is that I said a lot of air signs are actually more emotional than they think. They don't pick partners based upon not all the time, but a lot of times, the air signs don't necessarily pick partners that are the most common sense for them. And the reason why it is I'm saying that is because the thought process of the Gemini is having, right? The process of 2, right? The process of 3, right? The process of the Dr. Jekyll, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and then the body, right? So the 2 personalities that are inside of you already, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and then the actual body. And which one do you feed into the most? But here's the problem with Geminis, though. The Geminis don't necessarily understand a lot of the times that it's not about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's about understanding principles. And see, this is where, went out. This is where a lot of the times the Geminis can often be confused, because the Geminis can make choices or think of things that can sometimes have them be in a position where they're really left out in the cold, right? They're you know what I mean? They're really left out in the cold because of the choices that they made. Because the Geminis is the type of people who like to chase sometimes people who are not interested in them. That whole concept. See, here's the thing. Each zodiac sign represents a type of a dysfunction. In the lower sense, a type of a dysfunction that a lot of us express, all of us express, right, at one point or another in our life. With Geminis, the type of dysfunction that people can express in their lives is the idea of you chasing people that don't necessarily want to be caught. You understand what I'm saying? And because of this is where a lot of Geminis does end up getting messed up. So that's where the problem is coming from. A lot of you Geminis got to start going after people who want to be with you, but there has to be a caveat with that. Don't necessarily just settle. And what I mean by that is make sure that the person has standards and they're stand up as well. So, let's clarify the Two of Wands. Let's clarify the Two of Wands. Two of Wands, Emperor, the World, the Eight of Swords. This is about how a lot of you Geminis, for them, I should say them, again, they think they control you. And that's obviously not a very good sign, right? Then the World and the Eight of Swords, right? They don't want to go meet someone else. They don't know how to let go because they, according to them in their own mind, right, quote unquote, they perceive themselves, whether it's true or false, they perceive themselves as putting a lot of investment into you, putting a lot of focus onto you, and that you have no reason to leave because they're treating you well. So let's clarify the Lovers. Excuse me. So you have the Six of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Swords. So the Six of Pentacles is, like I said, look at the scale, weighing principles, right? The air signs is not about good and evil. Good and evil is the moralistic joint that has you too caught up in the dogmatic joint, the dogmatic way of thinking, right? If you're dealing with principles, i.e. virtues, now you're talking, because that's what air signs are. That's how air signs weigh out their decision making, or supposed to weigh out their decision making. That's why everything is the duel, right? With Geminis, it's the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. With Libra, it's the weighing of decision making with or right or wrong, right? With Aquarius, it's It's the group thought versus the individual thought. So everything comes in a dichotomy of 2s and 3s. So the air signs deal with duality, right? But it's not duality. It's an aspect of weighing out the things that it's an aspect of, and I know I'm going on with this, but this is very important. It's an aspect of understanding that how do I say that it's not about good versus evil. What it's about is making the best decisions that you can when you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place, so that way you're able to make better decisions. Now, that's what the cards is saying, because the Ace of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords, right? The Ace of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords is about like what the Ace of Pentacles is about, what you can produce, right? And the Ten of Swords is that you're suffering, or you suffer in relationships, or your relationships get sabotaged because you don't understand this principle, because a lot of Geminis don't take the time to get to know themselves. The advantage that Virgo, which is the zodiac sign that shares Mercury with you, have is that they actually do take the time to get to know their surroundings as well as themselves. So just think about it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Peace.